So I was saying that I would like to start by thanking Francesca for inviting us to be here today, and as well I would like to thank to Fondazione Patrimonio Malti for being our partner and making these fantastic projects possible in Malta. I'm going to show you a video that was prepared by Dr. Daniel Gullo. He's the curator of the Malta Study Center and the assistant director of Hill Museum and Manuscript Library. The video is only 20 minutes, but it's quite explicit about our projects and how the digitization project took place here at Palazzo Falson.
Hello, this is Dr. Daniel Gullo of the Malta Study Center at the Hill Museum and Manuscript Library. I want to thank all of you for taking a few minutes today to watch this virtual presentation. I'd like to begin by congratulating the Fondazione Patrimonio Malti and the Palazzo Falson, and in particular Francesca Balzan, on this wonderful anniversary that we are celebrating. My goal today is to briefly introduce you to the digitization project that was organized between the Malta Study Center and the Palazzo Falson in 2015, and to discuss a little bit of information regarding how you can access the data and see some of the images that were photographed at that time. So to begin, I'd just like to say that the Malta Study Center is actually located in the United States. It's located in Minnesota in a town called Collegeville, just north of Minneapolis. It is located at the Hill Museum and Manuscript Library, and the Malta Study Center was founded in 1973 by Joseph Micallef, the Consul General of St. Paul, Minneapolis. Since 1973, the Malta Study Center has engaged in over 40 years of microfilm and now digital preservation of the manuscript heritage of Malta. And it's part of that tradition of working in Malta that brought me to the Palazzo Falson in the fall of 2014 when I was visiting the island for a conference on the Inquisition. At this time, the Malta Study Center was engaging in a digitization project at the National Archives of Malta, and we knew that this project would be coming to an end roughly in about 12 months, and so I was there to help look for some new projects to continue our work in Malta. Thankfully, Francesca Balzan invited me to her wonderful cafe where we discussed the possibility of working with the Palazzo Falson's library, museum, and the Olaf Frederick Gulcher archives. We agreed in principle, and I returned to the United States and was very lucky to gain the support of the Gladys Kreibel Delmas Foundation, which provided substantial support for the digitization project. And with this support and funding from the endowment of the Malta Study Center, we began our digitization project in February of 2015. Now, the first thing that we did is we needed to go to the library and look through all of the manuscripts and books that could fall within our desired time frame and content. So we were looking for militentia, and we're looking for manuscripts that were produced pre-1820, so more or less. And here you can see me working with one of the volunteers, Ellen, as we are organizing the collection, providing project numbers, which are the file numbers for the digital files, and looking through the manuscripts and books for unique things that may or may not have been known to the library. As part of this process, we did uncover some really interesting things. For example, you can see here a 15th century liturgical manuscript, a missal being used as a binding fragment, and then on the right, a nice late 14th, early 15th century psalter, also used as a guard leaf in a printed book. So once we organized the collection, what we needed to do was to build the studio, and we began digitization at the end of February, and it continued all the way through September of 2015. And here my photographer is working on one of the documents from the Olaf Frederick Gulcher archives. Now, after digitization was complete, one of our goals was to help preserve the collection not just simply digitally, but also to provide some local assistance. And the Delmos Foundation provided funding to ship some modern acid-free archive boxes to replace the older business office boxes housing the collection. And here you can see volunteers at the Palazzo Falson um, preparing the boxes, and there you can see them located on the shelves in the archives inside the Palazzo Falson. Now, once the digital images are prepared, we actually leave a copy of all of the images in Malta with the Palazzo Falson. These are done in both JPEG and RAW files, and that all of the images are now available in Malta. At the same time, we bring them back to the United States, where we engage in a process of long-term storage. We keep all of the originals on the drive, but at the same time, we transfer them to servers located at the Hill Museum and Manuscript Library to create a copy. So now we have 3 copies of the original photographs. Another copy is actually sent to Utah, where it's taped and put on a server and stored in perpetuity. This creates our 4th copy. A different and modified copy of the originals is placed in our digital image server, which are the images that people view on our online digital catalog vHMML reading room. So in the end, we have 5 backup copies located in 3 different locations in 2 different countries to make sure that we do not lose the data. One of the things that we wanted to do is to make available the catalog information regarding the objects and the digital images. In 2015 and 2016, HMML, or the Hill Museum and Manuscript Library, was engaged in the process of building a new digital online catalog. Because that was going to take some time, I volunteered myself for the Palazzo Falson to come to a short-term solution to create an access point for people interested in the entire library collection at the Palazzo Falson. Many of the objects there are modern and therefore would not fall underneath our digitization criteria, but we still wanted to provide access to that collection. Also, Francesca informed me that they did have a catalog database for the library. However, it was stored on a unique computer using an older version of Microsoft Access and therefore not available to the public. Therefore, I decided to take that database and through a variety of complicated technical script writing and parsing of data, I was able to create a new database and then using Java, upload that database to the Palazzo Falson's website, which is where it is located now and freely accessible to the public. If you go to the Palazzo Falson website and you click on the library catalog link here at the top, you will see the library database. It's a very simple database that works on strings, but it can be faceted. So, for example, if you're looking for titles with the word Malta in it, simply type in Malta and it'll provide a list of titles with Malta in them. If, however, you're looking for titles by Smith, you can type in Smith and it'll find all authors with Smith in there. If you combine the two together, it will narrow the search so that the author and the title will find works by Smith with the title Malta. One other thing that's interesting about this is that you can sort the columns. So, for example, if you want to sort author by alphabetization, you can click on the author and it'll sort it for you. The same with title, same with place, and the same with date. So those SDs are without date, which is why they're getting ordered to the top. And then you can go down and see that they're ordered by date. Another nice thing that the catalog will allow you to do is to find things that we have actually digitized at the Palazzo Falson in this field called HMML. If you type in PFL, in the right column you'll see these blue PFL buttons. These are links to our digital online catalog. Simply by clicking on that link will take you to the digital online catalog, where if you have registered, you will be able to sign in and view the images. In August of 2016, myself and my colleagues here at the Hill Museum and Manuscript Library completed vHMML, which is our digital online catalog and resource for manuscript studies. Part of the project was to use this as a place where we could house all of our Malta and worldwide collections in a single database, whether archived, printed, or manuscript. It is free and it is open to the public. However, it does require a form of registration. If you've not visited the site before, you simply need to go to the top and click on register and fill in the information. Workers like myself here at HMML will try to verify the registration and have you as our new member. I'm just going to go ahead and sign in real quick and show you how to use Reading Room to see objects at the Palazzo Falson. Now that I'm signed in, you simply need to go to the menu and click on Reading Room. Once you have done this, you'll be on the Reading Room landing page. Here you can go ahead and do searches by keyword, by name, by title, by project number, or you can do advanced searches like country, city, repository, and you can search by genres, features, types of script, writing systems, and you can use the dates slider to narrow the dates where you would like to look. So, for example, we can go to the countries and click on Malta, and we can click on Mdina, and you can see here we have the Palazzo Falson Library and the Palazzo Falson Museum. If I click on those and I press search, all of the objects that we digitized at the library will be available to you. You can use the sort at the top to sort by date, by country, city, repository, or the HMML project number, which is our internal digital object number tied to the manuscript or printed book. If you're interested in works by Aristotle located in the library, oops, I can spell Aristotle correctly, you can type in Aristotle and it will allow you to see where Aristotle is located in the Palazzo Falson Library. And in this case, we have found 3 different works that were done. If you're interested in things by the Knights of Malta, you can simply type Knights, and you can see that it brings back 20 results for the Knights of Malta. If any object interests you, you can simply click on the description, which will take you to seeing an overview of the object, its contents, and a full description of the object. If you wish to see the images, you can click on View Images, and it'll bring up the images here for you to see. You can close or open the side panels in order to create more space, or go to full screen, at which point you can see the entire object without any interference. All of our digital collections from around the world are located in this database. You can also use keyword if you want to do it in a very quick way. So if I type in Palazzo Falson and I'm interested in rules of the Order of Malta, I can put that all into keyword and it'll bring up anything that has rules, Palazzo, and Falson in the database. And then if there's an object that interests me, I can go and view the object. The benefit of using this type of database allows us to put into the database some fairly rich metadata and find some very interesting objects. So, for example, we have here a wonderful late 17th century complete rule of the Order of the Knights of Malta. It's a wonderful manuscript, which is nearly, I believe, somewhere around 300 folios long. Another interesting thing about our database is how names work. If I go down and search a name, it'll find names who are associated names, authors, scribes. All of our names are in one single field. So in this case, if I'm interested in a person named Sodronio, I can type it in. And in this case, it becomes extremely powerful because all of these objects have the name Sodronio in it. And one of the unique things we're finding about the database is how Olaf Gulcher collected many things in Naples and as a result contains in his collection a short history of manuscript production at the beginning of the 19th century, all related to this gentleman named Francesco Antonio Sodronio, who was a Knight of Justice and receiver of the Order of Malta in Naples. And here's an index prepared by Sodronio. At the same time, we have in the museum a proof of nobility that was prepared for his entrance into the Order of Malta. And we also have in the very same museum a letter from Grand Master Emmanuel Pinto authorizing the commissioners to investigate the proof of nobility of Sodronio. Another thing we discovered as the process of cataloging has continued is that Gulcher collected many manuscripts in Rome, not just in Naples. And in this, he was very interested in collecting Jesuit manuscripts from the Collegium Romanum, in particular, manuscripts on physics and metaphysics. So by searching Palazzo Falson in physics, we can see that 5 different manuscripts were collected by Gulcher. One of them is this really beautiful commentary on Aristotle's De Anima that was produced in the 17th century. A final example of what we can find in the database at the Palazzo Falson is the fact that you can actually compare objects to other parts of the database. So for example, if I type in Palazzo Falson and I see something of interest to me, perhaps for example, something from the Priory of Capua, like this account book, I can then compare this object to other objects around the World Wide Web if they use IIIF Mirador technology. So, for example, if I search in Reading Room and I open up a record that has a IIIF manifest like this, I can grab that manifest, which is a link to the digital images, and then on another tab go back to the Palazzo Falson record, click the plus button, add a slot, add an item, put in the manifest link, click on that item, and then be able to compare the manuscripts side by side, both in the same viewer. Libraries that allow us to show the IIIF button can experience this mutual comparison of manuscripts in our database.